Okay, good morning. Welcome to
Number 1041.
FamilyMath1041. So we just took a look at Grant Sanderson's video about virus modeling and pandemics and how viruses spread. So I wanted to hear what you thought about the video and a couple of things that you thought were interesting.
Well, I thought it was interesting.
As a marker.
First of all, kind of how small changes can either drastically increase or drastically decrease the number of infected people.
Okay.
So, I think one of the examples was if you double the rate of infection, so if you have one person that infects 2 people, maybe instead they infect 4 people, this has a much larger impact. The infection, many more people get infected. It's not just double the amount of people that get infected, which is pretty interesting. Also, I think it was the kind of the better hygiene model where the infection rate was halved. That it didn't rise as much, but it also lasted a bit longer.
Okay.
So I think kind of the main takeaway that I'm seeing is that you kind of have a general, you've got a curve, but the curve can be short and steep, like that, or you can have it kind of be narrow, or wide and narrow, I guess, or short.
Okay.
But if less people get infected, then the infection usually lasts for longer, and if more people get infected, the infection's usually over quicker.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. So, what do you think? Let's go with your 3 pictures there. What do you think the differences are for the community in these 3 scenarios?
Well, I mean, for the highest one, I mean, I guess that's kind of no difference in daily life. You just kind of do whatever you do normally. And maybe you see, maybe everyone sees maybe 20 people on average a day. And maybe there's a 10% chance that an infected person passes it on, so you're infecting two people daily on average. So maybe the second curve is maybe there's a little bit, maybe this is kind of what we're doing now, where there's a little bit of isolation. And we're just kind of generally told, hey, this is a good idea. You should be doing this because it helps. But maybe not everyone's doing it. So maybe there's a little bit of a reduction. And then maybe this is the kind of just stay home unless you need to get food or go to the doctor. And this drastically lowers everything.
Okay.
What he said was kind of the best was removing the infected people from the population. But I think in this specific case with this specific virus, we can't really do that. And I'm not sure if he modeled that or not. I know he modeled a case with a couple asymptomatic people, but I don't think he modeled a case with the incubation period. So if he had...
Yeah, so, Brent, no, go ahead. I'll tell you what, at least my understanding what he did was, but go ahead.
So if you had... Because he said the best move was to remove people showing symptoms.
Yep.
But in this case, you have a 2-week period, so you've got healthy people, and then if they get infected, and there's a 2-week period, and then they start showing symptoms here. I don't know if he modeled this. I know he modeled there was for every 5 infected people there was 1 that wasn't showing symptoms.
Right. So his gap was only 1 day instead of instead of a week or 2 weeks. So it would have actually been really interesting to see how that progressed. Actually, if you changed 1 day to 2 days to a week or to 2 weeks or something like that. And you're right. That's one of the things that makes this virus very challenging to deal with is you can get it, and for a week or longer.
So like
you're spreading it, but you don't even know. You don't even know.
Yeah. So like if you do what he said and remove everyone here, you've got everyone that this person infected over the 2 weeks that will also be infecting people, and you don't know any of that yet.
Yeah, so it makes it very, very hard because in the U.S. It's a little more, but in round numbers, there's 300 million people in the U.S. and it's just you can't test everybody.
But yeah, so the just sending all of the infected people that show symptoms doesn't really help here, just because of this really long incubation period. But he said what does help is this kind of social isolation and not interacting with people, not going like a central area like a grocery store, unless you need to, like cutting down on that.
Yep.
Which were all pretty interesting. The thing that surprised me was that travel restrictions didn't really do much. So he had like a couple of like communities of people, but I guess what happened was once the infection, like I think it like took off in one community and there were like a couple of cases in the other communities, but once you restrict travel here, this doesn't do anything because the infection's already in every community. What he said is you have to restrict travel when like there's only a couple cases, when it's just starting.
Yeah. When
you don't really know what's going to happen yet.
Yeah.
So if you block travel here, then these communities are okay. But if you wait, then it just the travel restrictions basically do nothing.
Yeah, it is. I guess it makes sense when you hear it, but you're right. You have to impose drastic measures really early, or right, they're not effective because once it's spread, it doesn't really matter. Once a virus is spread around a little bit, then the additional spreading that's coming from the connections is smaller than you think. Well, cool. So, what do you think of the video overall?
It was pretty cool, pretty informative.
Yeah, I thought it's neat. A nice, not very mathematical. Like he's not going into all the mathematical modeling behind it. He's just showing the results, and it's really helpful to see that. All right, good job, man.